The answer to the student who is caught up in the point accumulation game, the this for that, the turn in the work weeks after the due date and, you know, soon expecting that assignment to be graded so that it can impact the grade so the student can go home and show the parents that, look, everything is good. No need to take away my phone. The answer to that student is leadership. It's leadership. And we believe that here. Teachers are leaders. And as such, leadership is the answer. Leadership in the classroom is the answer because leadership is it's about helping people change the way that they think, and that's what we do in the classroom as teachers. We help students change the way they think about the content. But additionally, before that grade is even recorded, the teacher has to they have to use all the tools in their tool belt in order to influence the student to make certain decisions before we get to that grade. You see, a grade is a representation of a collection of behaviors on the part of the student. Now, mind you, I'm assuming that, you, the teacher, you're doing everything that you can. You're asking yourself, what adjustments could I make to my lesson plans to meet the needs of my students? That's what I'm assuming. The fact that you're here, that you're listening to this podcast, that you're watching the video, that tells me that you're in that category. You're doing the things that you need to do to meet the needs of your students. And I appreciate that. I'm so happy that you're here. So the grade represents these collections of a collection of behaviors that the students are exhibiting. Now, these behaviors, they can be positive, but they can also be negative. It's a matter of either you studied for the test or you didn't study for the test. It's a matter of, did you ask questions during class or you didn't ask questions during class and you left the class with unanswered questions, not understanding the material completely. That's a behavior. That's a decision on the part of the student. It's a matter of, did the student engage in the lesson or did they on the side try to, spend time on their phone doing other things, not locked into the lesson. A grade is a representation of those behaviors, of those decisions, largely on the part of the student. That's what the grade represents. And so here's where leadership comes into play. We as teachers, it's a challenge for us all is to compel the student who has autonomy to make their own decisions, to compel them to want to engage in positive behaviors, to make good decisions that ultimately lead to the grade that they're ultimately seeking. Now, your job as a teacher is to highlight. You want to highlight those positive behaviors so that the student will want to repeat them. This is leadership. We are we're creating an environment, because as leaders, we're the architect of our environment. We're creating an environment that points out to the students that this is what we need to be doing. This is the good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, this is challenging because it has to be repeatedly. We have to repeatedly coach it. We have to talk about it. We have to explain it. We have to praise it. We have to constantly encourage students to rethink their thinking so that they ultimately they put their focus on these behaviors and not so much the ultimate outcome. Because if they're solely focused on the ultimate outcome, the grade that they want, I believe what happens is then they they are intrigued, they are compelled to look for shortcuts. If this is what I want, that's the grade that I want. Perhaps I can get away with doing these other things, these other good behaviors that I should be doing, the studying, the engaging, the asking questions. Maybe I can find a way to manipulate things to get what I want without having to do all those other things. So to that end, I want to introduce you to something. It's called the three P's of assessment. I came across this in an article, and I'm going to link to it for you in the description section. But this is it's talking about project based assessment. But within this article, it talks about the three P's, the three P's of grading for projects essentially. And I like this. I like this a lot because I think that what we can do, what we can take away from this is this can drive our coaching. This can drive our conversation with students along the way between, when we begin a unit and when we ultimately end a unit with the assessment. I think that this lens can help us as teachers to frame the environment in the classroom, to give students different things to think about that compel them to focus on these behaviors that we want them to focus on. So let's get into this. So the three P's, these three P's of we'll call them the three P's of assessment. The three P's of assessment, they are performance, progress, and process. Now, mind you, we're taught with this article, it's talking about a class that's primarily project-based learning. But we want to take this in a bit of a different direction, because I think the conversations that the focus of these three P's offers us, it allows us to compel students to focus on the behaviors, right? So performance, let's look at performance. Performance says here performance against teacher identified goals, which can be derived from standards. Okay. So I love this when we talk about focusing on the performance and really plugging into the concept of goals. Students need many opportunities in your classroom to set and accomplish goals, because I believe, ladies and gentlemen, and I share this with students on my Vision Chasers YouTube channel, where I'm talking to students, I'm talking to young adults about life. I believe the reason that you should go to school is because school is where you learn to set and accomplish goals. And ultimately, life is about setting and accomplishing goals, making the next week better than the previous week, making the next month better than the previous month, making the next year better than the previous year. Climbing the corporate ladder, going to college, getting this internship, that internship, getting promoted, whether it be starting a business, and focusing on different metrics with that business, goals that you want to set for your business so that you can earn more revenue. Life is about setting and accomplishing goals. And we get that opportunity. We give students that opportunity when they go to school. There are plenty of opportunities to set and accomplish goals. And when we look at this through that lens of performance against teacher identified goals, students get the ultimate opportunity, to focus, to focus consistently on the goals and not so much the outcome. And that's why that's what goals do for a person, is they really, it just really narrows the focus. It narrows the focus on, okay, what is it that you need to do within the next 10 minutes in order to move closer to your ultimate goal. It focuses the student on those action steps. And I also like that in this article, it talks about how students all have individual learning trajectories and timelines. And this speaks to the importance of feedback coming from you. And I often tell students that feedback gives us the opportunity to try again with better information. And that's the approach that you need to take in your classroom, so that you're shifting students, you're shifting their focus onto the now. What are we doing now? What can I do now in order to get to my ultimate goal? Because you don't want to get them caught up in that point accumulation game where they're thinking, I just want to get my points. I don't want to do all this. No, you have to get down there, and you have to get in there with them. Make sure they're getting that really good feedback, that individualized feedback and praise. You got to be in there with them. I know it's challenging. Definitely it's challenging, but this is the kind of leadership. This is the kind of leadership that I know works with individuals. You know, not just young people, but it works with individuals. It works with adults. So feedback is very important. And what I like about this is that it allows you to evaluate the behaviors along the way. When you're encouraging students to set goals, giving feedback, reminding them of that feedback along the way, and then that gives you the opportunity to look at the behaviors. And you know what you can do? You can grade the behavior. Ooh, I saw what you did. I saw that, you didn't ask questions during class. I saw that you asked 3 questions during class. That's A+. That's A+ effort right there. I appreciate that. Or, hey, you know what? I was walking around the groups. I noticed that, you were participating. You were adding to the discussion. Your input, it was on point. It was on topic. That's amazing. Thank you. That's A+ effort right there. And I don't know if it helps them. Sure, give them something and put an A on it. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's video games. I used to tell students, hey, if you want points, go play a video game. But whatever it takes to help them feel good about themselves and their effort, because you want them focused on effort on the way to a goal. All right, so that's performance against teacher identified goals. Making sure that your conversations are always looking through that lens of these 3 P's. So performance. The next one is progress or growth as students complete a task or a project. Once again, that's progress. And in the article, which I'm going to share with you in the description section, progress or growth as students complete a task or a project. Now, again, this article is coming from the standpoint of it's a project-based learning class, but I also think that it it can help us to frame our conversations with students. So what we progress is a big deal. Progress is a big deal. And it's just really, it's really interesting because now I'm dealing with it with my daughter. She's just got this perfectionism. And I don't know where it came from. She didn't get it from me. She didn't get it from me. But hey, don't tell my wife that. Don't tell my wife the conclusion I just came to. She didn't, my daughter, she did not get it from me. My daughter is only 7 years old, and it's really, I'm going to have to figure out, I'm going to have to get some tools. I'm going to have to get some more tools to help. But I've experienced students throughout my career. They're really delicate. It's really sensitive to, I mean, it can just be just a simple thing. It's like, hey, I just want to give you a little feedback about this little piece. And then it's just like, oh no, I can't believe it. I'm no good. It's like, no, don't say that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just this little thing right here. This is it. This is it. So we've got to manage that. We've got to manage that, ladies and gentlemen. And you never know what history your students are coming in your class with. They may have a history of coming up short. There may have been a teacher in their past that wasn't as sensitive with their feelings. And that teacher didn't mean to, but that teacher hurt that student. And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to just be able to read that situation and be sensitive, be ultra sensitive. And perhaps I'll do some research and share out with you what I learn about dealing a little bit more with those students. But you just have to be able to read the situation and know that, okay, I need to slow down just a little bit and maybe even partner with parents to figure out a way to get this feedback to the student, because along the way, even through mistakes, there is progress. Progress is being made, and progress is growth, and that needs to be celebrated. Progress is a big deal, whether it be through success or failure. And I know it's hard for students to wrap their minds around that sometimes, especially when we talk about these grades. And that's why it's important, as much as you can, give grades, give grades, even if it's not going in the grade book. Give grades for effort, or just as I said before, at the very least, just speak it. Hey, that's A+ effort right there. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Even if it's just, if it's not in the grade books, just do it. So progress, ladies and gentlemen, that is a big deal. The smallest progress, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. So the other thing I would suggest is definitely with progress is incentivize it, reward it. When you see some good progress, for sure, go ahead and reward that. And whether it be, it could be just a little piece of candy, whatever it takes. And I know, and I see it on Twitter all the time. Teachers are dipping into their pockets to do what they can for their kids. But now, and I see it, there is generosity in the world. There is kindness in the world. I see teachers, they're able to put their lists out there, and people are just so generous, and they're clearing their lists, and they're doing so many amazing things for teachers out there. And I want to jump in and take be a small part of that as well. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to bless a teacher with $20. I like to bless a teacher with $20. So what I will do, I think what we'll do is the fifth person that retweets this episode, I will Venmo, Cash App, whatever it is, $20. So that's what we'll do. The fifth person to retweet this episode of the Marvin Bird Show, $20 heading your way. And so you can do whatever you want with that for your students. Get them a big bag of candy so you can reward their effort. So I'm happy to do that. Happy to start doing that. I want to start giving and doing for teachers because I appreciate the work that you do. So, all right, that's progress. Progress is worth celebrating. The last P. So we did performance, talked about progress. And the next up is process. Process. And in the article it says process or the habits of mind that help a student achieve success. Let me read that again because that's very important. Or the habits of mind that help a student achieve success. We talked at the very beginning that the grade represents behaviors. Behaviors repeated, similar behaviors repeated over the course of time. That's our habits. Our habits. And I think this goes back to the mindset. Mindset, how one thinks, how one has set their mind, how one has set their mind. And as a teacher, you need to pay close attention to how your students have set their mind, because you may find that you're going to have to do some work in that area first before you can ever get to content with a student, because their mind has been set a certain way. Oh, I've never been good at math. I've never been good at social studies. It's going to be very difficult to get that student to do anything or to believe that their effort is going to lead to success unless you do something about the mindset, the way that they've set their mind. And you know what? Once you help to bring that 180-degree change in their mindset, you're going to have to continue to do that, because I think it's like, imagine like it's on a spring. So you're bringing it, you're pulling it back. Okay, you've changed your mindset, but without anything continuing to push against that mindset can come back, and it'll go back 180 degrees the other way if you're not constantly putting pressure to make sure that this mindset is actually set. It's set in place and the work is done, and the student can be on cruise control, and they're exhibiting these positive behaviors that are going to result into the positive outcome that we're looking for. You see, the mindset that dictates the amount of risk that one is willing to take. Oh, I've never been good at that, so I'm not doing it. Why should I? Why should I put myself out there and take a risk? Why should I put myself out there and try to answer that question and look foolish in front of my peers? Not going to do it. Not going to do it. So it's a matter of consistently having conversations with that student, consistently giving feedback, consistently focused on effort. And it's difficult, but you have to see it through this lens. You have to have the conversations with students about this in order and build that bridge with students, to build a bridge of trust with students in order for them to even believe that the adjustments that you give them during feedback, in order for them to believe that those adjustments are even going to work. And, you know, it's not easy, and it's not always going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take small victories. But when you're focused on it, when you're talking about it, when it's on your mind during your lesson planning, that, oh, yep, Johnny, I've got to do some work with Johnny on his mindset. I know exactly why he left these answers blank. We need to work on his mindset. And so I'm going to spend some time with Johnny, and we're not even going to talk about content. Maybe I'll share with him a quote. Maybe I'll share with him an inspirational story So, and maybe I'll share with him a video from the Vision Chasers YouTube channel. The Vision Chasers YouTube channel is filled with many motivational videos that are there anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes to 9, 10 minutes long. You can show them to individual students, or you can show them to your full class in order to prepare the mind for the planting of seeds. And the Vision Chasers YouTube channel, I will link in the description section as well. But I definitely, because I know the content that's on that channel, and I know why I made those videos. I made those videos. They are for students. They are the things that I would say to students when I recognize that they didn't have the right mindset. They didn't have the growth mindset. They didn't come to class ready to seize the day. And so I needed to do my part in order to get them ready for greatness. Get them ready to pursue excellence. Because as I tell people on that channel, I tell students, there is something special in this world that you are supposed to do, You are one of a kind. And this world is going to be a better place because you have achieved your vision of success and beyond. That's what it's all about. And students, people need to hear that. They need to hear that because sometimes people, they're in need of hope. They don't have hope. They don't have belief in themselves. Their mindset it's not going to be where it needs to be. And so it's going to be difficult to learn. And that's where, my friend, you as a teacher, you as a leader, you're going to need to be able to step in and address that. So once again, our three P's of assessment, the three P's that I want you to go in your class, and I want you to view things through this lens. I want your coaching to be through this lens. Or we're talking about performance against teacher identified goals. Goals are important. Or we're talking about progress or growth as students complete a task or project. Progress is important. It's a big deal. Let's celebrate it. And then last but not least, process, or the habits of the mind that help a student achieve success. We want students exhibiting more of those behaviors, make it a habit to exhibit those behaviors that are going to lead to the ultimate outcome, the better outcome that we want them to have. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have for today. I encourage you to check out marvinbird.com, marvinbird.com. That is where you can find the Classroom Leadership blog, PD on your own time. And those blog posts, it'll take you 3 to 5 minutes to get through a single blog post. Do that on your own time. Also, if you enjoy the content, I encourage you to partner with us. And I thank you for those of you who have partnered with us. marvinbird.com. There's a tab at the top that says support the message. You click on that tab. There's a number of ways that you can support the message and partner with us. But one of the ways people are primarily partnering with us is through our Amazon affiliate link. Now, whoever it was, I thank you so much. Somebody went and purchased a computer using that Amazon link. And whenever you do that, whenever you use that link, that kicks back a small little commission here. And it helps me to get these podcasts out, to continue the work, continue going through this research and boiling it down and putting it into simple blog posts so that you can quickly read and get out and continue on your day. So thank you. Thank you to whoever did that. And thank you to you if you're considering using that affiliate link and kicking back a little commission our way. So thank you for that. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And until we meet again, please don't forget that teachers are leaders.